Mic check, mic check, mic check, checking the volume. Mic check, mic check, mic check, checking the volume. Mic check, mic check, mic check, checking the volume. Okay guys, here we are. Let me pause this music. Doing picks and bans for our Monday scrimmage against Siloam Springs in Arkansas. So it's kind of a cross-country game. Cool thing about esports is it doesn't matter where you are, you can play. So this is not an official game. This is just a scrimmage between two teams. Their coach and I got to know each other on the Coaches Rivals series that took place in the spring and the summer. And we thought it'd be pretty good to pit our teams against each other so we can learn. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and watch this, and then we'll talk about picks and bans at the end.
Good to know. Not a problem.
Do not try my patience.
So something just happened. Why would the ADC get kicked? Well, we're going to be right back, so let's cut it out for a second while we figure these things out. Some technical difficulties. Yeah, you banned the wrong guy.
I banned the wrong person by accident.
Okay, so we're back, and it looks like there was some technical difficulties over there, but so we're going to restart again. What's going to happen, though, is the existing bans and picks that were there, we are going to pick those back. So we're figuring this out. So we'll be right back.
It's okay, no one can actually win. No one won't get a swing this time.
Okay, so I think we got it this time. There was some switching of computers in a quick patch, but I think we're good to go here. So we'll just do the music and talk about these picks and bans here in a second.
The weak fear the shadows.
Fear controls them. My list just got longer.
Not a problem. You're scared. Good to know.
Fear me.
More of a dog person, huh?
Pathetic.
Okay, so I think we're done here, and hopefully everything's working. So let's talk about these picks and bans of this Monday night scrimmage between Willow Canyon High School in Arizona versus Siloam Springs in Arkansas. So Willow Canyon banned Vladimir, and in our scouting reports, we definitely saw that Vladimir is one of their mid's most potent characters. Kane and Misfortune, those are three solid bans for your first three. Siloam Springs did Nasus, Pike, and Akali. Akali is a terror. Our Pike with Versace it's God mode. Nasus is Nasus was one that Eilith used to play, but hasn't played him recently, so kind of curious about that choice. We're entering our 3-minute spectator delay. And then the additional ones were Kha'Zix, Talon, Nidalee, and Yuumi. So all in all, good bans all around, kind of playing into each team's strengths. And so let's look at these matchups. We have a Tryndamere against an Alawi topside. Alawi has a lot of bruiser ability. If Eilith can keep her close to a wall where her tentacles can really take advantage. And Destroyer Burn, both of these guys are kind of lower level. That's one of the things Eilith has struggled with in this season, is he's been going up against a lot of higher gold and plat tops, and he's new to the game. So hopefully this will allow him to get some good practice here. And Tryndamere is just pretty good just all around, especially with his R. Jarvan 4 versus Rammus, so we're looking at tankiness versus kind of quick burst and a lot of crowd control with the Jarvan. If Rammus can get ahead, that's actually a pretty good matchup for them. Fizz is cheat mode, but Lone Wolfie is relatively new to the mid lane role as we switched our mid laners. And Ornn I have never seen as mid. But I have seen tanky top types play mid, so it definitely can work. Mid and top definitely play very similar, with mid more roaming than the top player. Now on our bot lane, we have a Caitlyn Blitzcrank, so we have range and then that kind of shutdown with Blitzcrank's hook. Caitlyn was one that I was personally worried about, but she was taken real quick versus an Ashe and Leona. So Ashe just has a lot of slows, and is a pretty good counter to Caitlyn if she can get inside that range. And Leona can tank it up and shut some people down. So all in all, I think these were really good picks for both teams. We have 55 seconds, so enjoy the music until we start our play. Alright guys, as we're waiting for this, let's go ahead and take a look at their levels and mastery. This is something I kind of like. So definitely that mid is a good matchup here. We have a silver Fizz with no mastery versus a no apparent rank M7 Ornn. So that's going to be a good matchup there. Rammus, another M7 Rammus, and that's a great skin. Frozen Turtle. An M7 versus the Jarvan 4, but I know the Jarvan 4, and I think he'll do all right. I think one of 1TR1's issues is he likes to switch around champs and never really gets mastery on him. Alawi versus Blood Moon Tryndamere, a level 5. That did not match the op.gg. That's interesting. And an M5 Ashe and an M4 Leona against the Caitlyn Blitzcrank. I think if we're going to see any kind of flip in this game, it's going to be in the bot lane. The bot lane, I think, is going to decide this lane. So bot lanes and objectives. All in all, I think this will be interesting. Frozen Cat 3030 has been Willow's support player, but is now switched over and is playing ADC. And it's a similar role in that she's used to playing with ADCs. So I think she can make that transition pretty well. Let's see what's taking so long here. Not quite sure. This is one of the worst parts of my job is casting. And by the way, Willow Canyon students, if you are watching, we are looking for casters to do this job, to talk about the game and get excited. So if you feel like you know the game but you're not quite confident in your competition abilities, we're definitely looking for you. 2 casters would be best, so we can kind of play off each other, because Coach would rather coach. Coach Warness is also here in the game spectating. He's watching our players. He is definitely my skills coach. Much better player than I am. All right, here we go. So now we're loading in. Let's get our mechanics up here. And it looks like my map is stable, so that's a bonus. So my map has not been so stable in the past little while. So Willow Canyon starting blue side bot, and Siloam Springs starting red side top. So good question here. Are we going with a traditional start with a 5-1? Are we looking for an early invade? We see both sides pinging. This might be an early invade by Siloam Springs. Nope, they're pinging for a 5-1. So just watching here. There's a really good ping by Siloam Springs there. Definitely telling each other where to go. This is not a good placement for Leona because she really can't see beyond about here. So if Siloam Springs wanted to, they could get a really good invade. Obviously they're not. They're hanging out here going for a traditional blue start. J4 did just back to base. He's probably going to go for a red start. Fizz and Orn, just keeping an eye out. And Akali and Tryndamere. Akali did show herself a little early. Tryndamere obviously knows where she is, but she does not know where Tryndamere is. Let's see how this exchange goes. Here we go. Easy start. Rammus does not have a quick early clear, but Caitlyn does have a lot of power she can bring there. They're coming down through river rather than going through the safe route. And I did talk to, oh, where are we at? Here, this is pronounced Feek style, so hopefully I said it right. I did ask, but I did fail phonics. That's why I'm a history teacher. So, some early bullying in lane here with the Tryndamere and the Alawi. Fizz using his mobility, but Orn does have a lot of hit points and armor, so let's see, keep a look on the top lane here. So one of the things that we're working on with Ilith is his CS, and there is a range champ that he can just, or a range creep that he can just knock out here, and he's choosing not to, and I'm not quite sure why. Has an easy 14 gold and a CS. But Tryndamere staying in the fight, picking up a lot of experience points where Alawi is a little bit behind. Okay, we got a stun here on the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank does manage to get away, and that is one of the dangers of playing against the Leona. She can come in here and do that. So both top laners, though, maintaining roughly even CS. The Rammus jungle is ahead of the J4. Even CS mid, and Ashe is slightly ahead, but not too much, of the Caitlyn. So both bottom laners took this Relic Shield. Now, one of the things that came about in last Wednesday was the new 2021 preseason patch, and so a lot of items have changed. They look very similar, but there's some issues. The biggest one being these jungle items. You now either go with the Ember Knife or the Hail Blade, and basically you get your buff after using your smite 5 times. So it's kind of led to early smiting, which a lot of players aren't used to, causing some problems with some early leashes and clears. So ooh, a flash from the Akali. Why do I keep calling her Akali? I apologize. Alawi. I think because the sound is the same. But Tryndamere is definitely letting his team know that the Alawi flashed. And it looks like Blitz is going to go down. Oh, but it was a trade. Both sides are kind of low. Both ADCs are low, so a single mistake by either one of them can kind of, I think, lead to a double kill here. Both supports going down. Rammus getting pinged. I think Rammus might make a play here on this Ashe. Ashe has no vision. And great gank by the Rammus, knocking the Ashe down who was low. That lack of vision there in the river definitely hurt Willow Canyon. So vision. Fizz is low and the Orn is high. And a TP in for Alawi. Trying to make a move, I think, on this Tryndamere. But also we're still seeing no vision. Siloam Springs definitely has more vision. Willow Canyon still hasn't dropped. They have one stealth ward, or excuse me, no stealth ward there. Ashe does have a ward. Placed her stealth ward in the dragon pit. Pink probably would have been a better choice, but we'll see what happens there. Clearing this wave. That Caitlyn is ahead 2-0. That could lead to some problems. J4 getting trying for some clear here. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do. Both sides are just kind of trading here. And that Leona push with her shield. Blitz is not falling back. And definitely taking some advantage. Can she get away? And the Leona does get away. Versace does manage this time to get out of the Caitlyn's grasp. And the Caitlyn and Ashe both die, but Leona did pick up the kill on the Caitlyn. So anyways, back to these knives. We're seeing that the Rammus is doing a much better job getting rid of his smites, and now he got rid of that jungle item. That does give him the bonus. The J4 is not really using his smites like he should. I think this is a patch issue. Just not knowing the new itemizations. Sorry, my wife is texting me. It's always important to communicate with your spouse and make sure there's no surprises. I told her I had a game, and here she is, like, demanding to know what's for dinner. So, it's all good. So, Alawi's actually ahead of the Tryndamere in CS, so that's a first for Yleth this season. It's got to feel really good. The Rammus is definitely doing a better job than this J4. Both sides kind of pinging the Dragon Pit. Rammus does not have a good early dragon. And that Blitzcrank was staying a little too long. And Ashe took the bullet for her Leona there. Great block of Caitlyn's ult. I think J4 is going to make a play for this dragon here. Ashe can definitely help. Using her E to get a good vision. Realizes no one's in that jungle. That is probably going to be a free Ocean Drake for Willow Canyon, which is going to help them with their ultimate cooldowns. So that first one is, oh no, I'm sorry, I apologize. That is health regen, 2.5% every 3 seconds. But it looks like Siloam Springs is trying to take the Herald. That's a Herald versus Dragon exchange, and the question is what lane are they going to punish with that Herald? And then the Rammus picked it up, so the Rammus can make those decisions, and the Rammus is a little ahead of the J4, which is never a good idea. Please remember there is a 3-minute spectator delay in all these games. Or Frozen Cat. She has to go fluffy for all her characters. Fizz definitely taking out some vision there, clearing off his own little path so he knows when and where he's possible gank is incoming. We haven't seen too many ganks outside of that first one with Rammus against. Oh, the minion wave did stop that kill on the Blitz. Blitz definitely should be moving back at this point. Alawi clearing off the vision. The top laners seem pretty even. Mid lane. Let's take a look at mid because we're also seeing some. There was an attempted gank by the Rammus, and now the J4 is getting in. Didn't really work. Neither side got much of a gank, but out comes the Herald. That's going to take probably 3 plates here from mid tower. And a good ult by Fizz. And that's 2.5 plates, which is a lot of gold for that Rammus. We're looking at about 2 minutes on an Infernal Drake, so that means we are getting a Cloud or Mountain Drake or Mountain Soul. No Infernal Soul for this game. We're 13 minutes in. Willow is slightly ahead in the gold department, but not by too much, and slightly ahead in kills at this point. I believe first blood went to Willow, and the first Herald went to that was a great pull by Blitzcrank against the Ashe, and a very good taking advantage of it by the Caitlyn. Mid just seems right now kind of even. Fizz has 1 kill. I'm thinking that was on the Rammus, but I didn't see that. I apologize. It's not the Rona, I promise. Now here in Arizona, there is some talk about winter sports, and as of right now, esports will continue as it is. Most of my players are actually playing from home, even though they are eligible to play here at Willow Canyon. Our Rocket League players tend to play more from here. League of Legends players tend to play more from home. It has been a long day. It's only a Monday. So, week and a half till Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving this year. It is going to be a quiet one. We are keeping our travel to a minimum, and what a great use of Leona's shield to block that ult. Ashe almost went down to the exact same tactic that she did in the first time. So we got a Caitlyn who's 4-1-0 and an Ashe who's 3-3-1, and so and also a Caitlyn who's ahead in CS. So that's, I'm going to give the advantage there to Caitlyn, but the Blitzcrank does have 3 deaths, so Leona's probably going to make that up. And still no real kills or ganks by the. And it looks like 4v Dragon here, so Siloam Springs taking the Infernal Drake, and that's going to give us a Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul is what we're fighting for, so extra damage, extra healing. How is that going to balance? Siloam Springs is now slightly ahead in gold. Both of these guys about equal in CS on the top lane. Ram is definitely carrying the jungle. Trindamere's heal. Mid lane, it's about even. Okay, I think Fizz is going to come up for a gank himself, but there is a ward he is unaware of, or was unaware of. If we look at the vision scores here, in the top lane, in the jungle, Siloam Springs is definitely doing a better job there. Bot lane, after that initial gank, I think that Willow Canyon's definitely kicking it up a notch. Has better vision in the bot lane. I think there is a play coming for this. Now we took a full ram, and Caitlyn goes down, and I think Blitz will go down too if there's another stun and a root, and yeah. Trying to get some of that precious tower. But I think that this is going to be kind of interesting since Trindamere is full strength. J4 might be able to pull this off. Much better vision. Good use of pink wards. I'm sorry, control wards. On here. And Willow Canyon gets both first kill and first turret.
I would have died if you didn't do that, so.
Is Fizz? I think Fizz is coming up here to collapse. We're at 18 minutes. I think if Willow Canyon is looking to get any kind of herald, they're going to have to take down this Tryndamere. They might be able to do it now if Fizz goes in on it with J4. And I think they decided not to do it. I think they just need to commit to a river fight there. But a kind of conservative early play by both teams. We have a little under 2 minutes for our next Drake, a Cloud Drake. My big concern is the J4 here is and wow, great collapse here by Siloam Springs, and a good flash for the Leona getting out of it if she can. She's stuck. I think she's going to try to sacrifice herself here so the other two can get away. And the Rammus is out of position and got a 3-on-1. Fizz got pulled by a Blitzcrank but managed to flash away. And the Blitzcrank going down. So that was, it looked like a total domination by Siloam Springs, but it turned out an okay for Willow Canyon. J4, I think, is looking to clear some of Rammus's jungle. Knowing there's about 40 seconds left, picking up this scuttle. It's a great idea. I'll give vision on the Dragon Pit on top of the ward that's already there. Vision in the river. So good idea. Caitlyn is trying to pick up some CS, I think. Yeah, but going away. TP in for Alawi. Alawi's just a little bit behind in CS. Orange just able to punish and has a lot of health, able to kind of outlast the Fizz's burst damage. Oh, here we go. Here comes Fizz's ult. Oh, I missed it. I pulled away. And Fizz's ult did almost no damage to this Ornn. Tryndamere and Alawi are fighting it out. I think this might go to Alawi here. Maybe not. Ooh, it's stunned. It's stunned. Will he take advantage of it? Undying Rage, and Fizz comes in and takes the kill, but what a great bit of teamwork there. That was a long range stun by the Ashe. That absolutely fantastic. An excellent, almost textbook example of how to play Ashe. Using that burst to burn down some of this. Doran does miss. But it does look like Caitlyn and Blitz will take bot tower as it was completely undefended. Fizz will probably take some... let's look at this Ornn though. This Ornn went with plated steel caps. These I think are the equivalent of the old ninja tabbies. Bramble vest and Doran shield, so definitely protecting himself. Whereas the Fizz is going with the Aether Whip, blasting one, Sheen for picking up extra damage, Doran's ring, boots. So just a lot of DPS here. I think Fizz just needs to get out. Rammus using his ult. And Ashe I don't think can burn down the tankiness of this Siloam Springs team with an Ornn and a Rammus. Yeah, I think this is a good kill here for Doran's dad's team. I think this is going to be a second dragon to Siloam Springs, picking up that Cloud Drake, which is the one that gives the ultimate ability haste. So that's the one I was thinking about when I talked about Ocean Drake. I'm gonna send a message to my other coach.
She's 11 and 3. Oh, I'm still gonna see us in
And the ult drops on Tryndamere. Ton of damage. The Undying Rage manages to get into the Barren Pit and escapes. I don't think this was necessarily a play. And the Ashe hyper carry is coming. If Caitlyn can go down here, that's a lot of damage. Taken away from Siloam Springs, but the Tryndamere is coming. He had to use his R, so his Undying Rage is down, so a quick burst on him would lead to a lot of things, but the Fizz is down. I don't think they can do this. The Ornn is providing a lot of utility, but not a lot of win points for his team at 0-0 and 4. So he is kind of scary. He's kind of seen as a threat, I think, but he's just a wall of tankiness. So interestingly, both Kate and Ashe went with this Wormfall and Sacrifice. More attack speed, more crit chance. The Collector for Kate, attack damage and crit. So Kate's looking to stack crit, I think. And Ashe is looking to stack speed. The Ornn is level 15. And there's a Tryndamere hiding in the bush, but I don't think he is aware of Willow Canyon's ward. And the Ashe alt root. Leona just providing that tankiness now. And Alawi taking down the first top lane turret. Orange just has so much health. But the Caitlyn and Blitz came up pretty much unopposed and took down both of that bot lane combo that's playing in the mid. And that mid tower did not go. Oh, Fizz misses with his... Oh, does get his ult in. Is he going to dive here? Good dive. He probably could have taken that tower if he decided he wanted to. But playing conservative. There you go. The tap on the tower. So the first level of towers have all been taken against Siloam Spring by Willow. And Willow has lost one bot tower. This bot lane is really interesting though. This Caitlyn is getting ahead, but the Ashe is kind of scary. So we're looking at 9 seconds on the next Cloud Drake. That would be 3 Drakes for Siloam Springs. Willow does look like it's trying to do something, but Ornn is moving on this tower. No one really to oppose him because I think Willow is trying to get in on this Drake. And it's just the Rammus and the bot lane. But Tryndamere is coming down, and Willow has 4 of its. And the Blitzcrank. The Rammus is down. The Tryndamere is down. Oh, the Tryndamere is not down. I apologize. And Leona tanking it through. And so that was a 1, 2, 3 kill, 4 kill for Willow with only Ornn alive, and Willow lost Ashe and J4. So neither team really has a jungler to take this, but Fizz and Leona, between the two of them, do manage to take down this Cloud Drake for Willow, tying up the Drake counts. Willow ahead by about 2,000 gold and 6 kills here. Lowy manages to get the Ornn off the top lane. This is turning out to be a real kind of semi-equal. Let's put us here to mid. Semi-equal. So it looks like there is a pause coming up. Let me ask my other player here why this pause is happening. Jonah, what's going on with the pause? What do you mean changing internet? You can do that? Okay. Okay, so it looks like we have a pause, and so we're going to go ahead and let's just talk about what's going on here, because it seems like we got quite a bit of time looking over at my other player because he's 3 minutes ahead of me. So in this top lane, Tryndamere did have some early lead, but nothing that couldn't be overcome. And the Alawi has definitely picked up the pace with the CS and no deaths. The Tryndamere keeps trying to dive in fights, and really with a Rammus and an Ornn, Tryndamere really needs to focus on damage dealing. And it looks like he's trying to build damage crit, damage, a little bit of speed, and so he's looking to build damage and crit, but I think he's behind, or he's not spending his items right. The Alawi has the Trinity Force early item, so definitely an item ahead. Has the armor that can withstand the Tryndamere, the Warhammer, the Chain Vest, and Doran Shield, just keeping ahead. I guess this is a starter item here. But got rid of Doran's Blade, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Then when we look at our junglers, both are building tanky items, with Rammus going with the traditional Thornmail. Steel Caps are his Ninja Tabbies, and Magic Resist. Though outside of the Fizz, there's not that much magic damage on the Willow team. A little bit from Leona. Knight's Vow, Steel Caps, Crystalline Bracers. And this Knight's Vow is definitely being built for team fights at the end. So it looks like they're just chatting it up quite a bit. It looks like the Fizz is back, so I think we're waiting for 1-1. Feek Style, though. Feek Style, let's talk about the bot lane before we go to the mid lane. This bot lane did not turn out the way I thought. This Caitlyn is a monster. 191 CS, 13 kills, 4 deaths, 1 assist. Definitely building damage and speed, or excuse me, damage and crit. The Ashe is keeping up 10, 6, and 9. So both are looking at about 3 KDA, but Ashe is definitely looking like she's building into speed. Hold on, my other coach just texted me. And then the Leona and Blitz both are looking to build tankiness. Bulkwood of the Mountain, pretty good item there for Blitz. Mobility Boots, trying to get rid of, or just trying to be able to get into combat in that Crystalline Bracer. And Leona with the Knight's Vow, so definitely there for the team fight, definitely thinking about everybody else. She is going to be standing up front, taking everything. It looks like the two teams are chatting. I should probably move this logo over so you guys can see it. It looks like both teams are having a lot of fun with each other, which is a great thing to hear. And then it looks like Leona is building even more armor here. Okay, it looks like we're coming back in a few minutes, because I do see that our player is actively playing now. So much chattiness. Got to remember to hydrate, so that's important, especially when you're in a desert state like Arizona. Probably not as much in Arkansas, but Arkansas does have some beautiful fall weather now. I've been one time to Arkansas, up into the northern part in the Ozarks, and it is a beautiful place in fall. A little too humid for my taste, but speaking of Arkansas, my second oldest son just joined the military, and he's going off to basic in January, and he's going to a base in southern Missouri, so he's really close to Arkansas there. So when I saw that Siloam Springs wanted a scrim, I thought, this is great. I can kind of be close to my son, even though he still hasn't left yet, and it's Arkansas, not Missouri. So here we go. I apologize, my Discord keeps popping up here. this should be over here. I hope you guys can deal with my inane chatter to fill the space.
I'm gonna head in. Try and finish the game.
I think this water's been in here a little too long. Okay, it seems like Willow Canyon's jungle is back, so we should be back here in any second.
I'm gonna go top lane. I'm just gonna look in their jungle, see if anyone's here. We don't have any fault. There's the keyboard and the premier and the yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's just try and
Both teams kind of figuring out what to do here. Trindamere is making a dive on this tower, doesn't realize he's behind. No vision, and this is the problem with vision. Fizz coming out of the jungle. Trindamere can get over the wall, but that ult slows him, does a ton of damage. J4 has the jump, and the Alawi gets in and takes out the Trindamere. That was just poor planning, poor thinking. Siloam Springs is pinging, thinking that Willow is going to make a play on the Baron, but Willow has no vision here. Neither does Siloam Springs, and they just lost the Scuttle ward. 2 minutes on a Cloud Drake, which would be the third Drake for either team. Rama's taking out that vision, clearing his jungle. Lowy moving down. I think trying to work off the Ornn. Sees the Ornn isn't there, but that's a lot of minions moving on that tower. That was something Alawi probably could have cleared off. The Blitz and Caitlyn combo staying together. Blitz not roaming as much. He could probably provide some extra utility to, say, the Trindamere with his roam. And Ornn coming down, looking to maybe take, maybe to pick up this bot tower. Neither side has really made much of a play here on towers. It seems like they're just going for team fights. Trindamere is just getting really out of position. I think this Trindamere must be getting upset. I know sometimes, like, when I'm down like that, I stop really thinking, and I'm thinking, I gotta get ahead, I gotta do something, split push. And I'm not really remembering my basics. And I think that's what the problem here is with this Trindamere. Some pretty solid early play. I think this mid to late game is a struggle, and there's definitely transition in League of Legends between the different game modes. We just had a summer camp, or not a summer camp, but a training camp with Play Versus and US Sports and their esports division over the weekend for Rocket League, and the games are very, very different. Rocket League being the other game we play here at Willow Canyon. And I think that Rocket League is complex in some sense, especially rotations and making sure that you cover each other's back, but League just brings it to a whole new level because there's so many different stages, so many different things to be thinking about. Trindamere defending his top lane. There is vision on the Baron by Siloam Springs. Looks like Willow Canyon's going to make a play for this dragon. Maybe not. It's 4v4 here. Alawi and Trindamere kind of messing around with each other. So let's stay down here with this river fight because I think this is where the hot action is going to go. I think Leona's just waiting. Pulled in, but now behind, but everybody kind of focusing on the Leona. Is that going to allow? And red team definitely takes this two down. The Leona and the J4. Can Willow try to steal? There's no steal here. So 3 dragons to Siloam Springs. Next dragon is Dragon Soul for them. Alawi got in and just fed that Caitlyn at 16-4-1. That Caitlyn's going to start hyper carrying here. That's the danger of a Caitlyn that's been fed. And she's been pretty broad across the board. But Alawi's only has 1 death right now, so each team just kind of doing some clear. Willow kind of had that hard reset. Is Blitz going to try for a... Stopping the Blitz is back at the last possible second. Baron was not happy J4 was there. I don't think J4 knows the Tryndamere is here. Oh, he does now. I wonder if that could have been a solo. Willow making a play for this Baron? What's going on? J4 clearing a wave. You got mid. You got Ornn and Caitlyn. There's no dragon for 3 minutes. Maybe they're trying to isolate the Ashe split push. Wow, Caitlyn does a lot of damage, but definitely a glass cannon. And the Leona and Fizz squished right between the two. J4, can the Blitz or can the Ornn get away? So much health. So Willow aces here. What decision are they going to make? You got 2 minutes on a drag. I think they're going to make a play for the dragon now. There are only 3 of them, 4 of them up. The Alawi is down 10 seconds. I don't know if Willow can bring this down in 10 seconds, so Alawi might get the buff as well. The Caitlyn is up in 4. The Tryndamere is up in 3 now. So it looks like Willow is moving here in on this Baron. Caitlyn and Tryndamere can't get there. So this looks like a full Baron. All 5 Willow players picked up a Baron. Great job here. Cloud Drake spawning in a minute. That would be Soul for Siloam Springs, which would help balance out, I think, a bit of that Baron buff. Let's see what Willow does with this Baron buff, if they're going to be able to make a push. They're all split up right now. Not exactly this proper strategy for utilizing this Baron buff. A good strong push on any of these lanes would really help. Tryndamere clearing Willow's jungle. Is Willow going to isolate this Ornn? I think this Ornn is just kind of out of luck here. Willow's not doing much with this Baron buff. A missed ult by the Fizz. Looks like another fight here in River. Leona went in early. Ashe took out the dragon by herself. Another ace. I don't understand why they're running here. This tower needs to go down.
Let's go.
Unless they're going to make a push. So there's been a push bot.
I have so much health.
Now definitely taking advantage of both, or of the Baron buff. And Ashe has so much speed right now. She's just burning through everything. Will they get this first base mid tower in the inhibitor? So good use of the Baron buff right now. 2 towers down, 3 towers down, in 2 inhibitors.
They just let you push through.
So good use of this Baron buff.
Yeah.
Seems like Willow is collapsing top lane. Ashe is buying some more stuff. She's got her best friend sword, because we can't say the other thing because this is a high school stream. Mortal reminder that Grievous wounds, the speed there, Dominic's regards, bonus physical damage against champions with greater max health than you. So that's the Rammus, that's the Ornn, that's the Tryndamere, and the Blitzcrank. And so that's definitely an item that's super useful. And Ashe just absolutely killing it here. Willow has lost the Baron buff, but has now gotten really far ahead, about 5k, 6k gold. Let's see if the other coach has talked to me yet. At this point, it's really hard to come back from. I've seen it happen. In fact, I had one game where we came back in the 58th minute with all of our towers and only our Nexus. I think Leona was looking for a go there on Tryndamere. Are they going to take down this top tower? Ashe and Leona just keeping everybody busy. Leona does go down here. Basically, it was 3v1 with a lot of tankiness with Caitlyn. Flash away by the Alawi, trying to get away. Is Blitz's hand up? Yep, Blitz's hand is up. Did J4 get in there? Here comes Ashe just burning down the Blitz. And the Caitlyn goes down to the Fizz. And Alawi's tentacles here are just going to wreak havoc with everybody. You really don't want to get... This is the kind of the worst situation you can be in against an Alawi. With 4 tentacles, just you're absolutely surrounded. There's really nothing you can do. Ornn does have that good pushback, but they can't really do anything. There's not a lot of damage for them. And now we have the Ashe eliminating this. And great game everybody. This is a win for Willow Canyon, 37-22. We're going to take a look at the stats, and then we will figure out what's going down with game 2. All right. So looking at it, 37-22 and 82. So Willow Canyon definitely picking up the team fight aspect that they've been struggling with the past few games. And Siloam Springs 22, 37, and 41. Going to some advanced details here. We look at the Ash and the Fizz, both 30k damage, the Alawi 20k, and the Leona 23. J4 was really kind of far behind here. The Caitlyn at 39 being the top damage dealer for both teams, 23 for the Rammus, so definitely jungle difference here. And Blitz, Ornn, and Tryndamere. Tryndamere is really, that's not a very good Tryndamere damage thing. It's kind of like when I play Tryndamere, and I'm really bad at Tryndamere. So that's something that can be focused on, but it kind of makes sense with the 0, 9, and 3. He was getting kind of bullied in lane. All right, so we'll be right back. We're going to figure out what the second match is. All right, we're back for game 2 here of Siloam Springs versus Willow Canyon. This is a Monday night scrimmage. Doesn't affect either team's standings for their individual states. Willow Canyon being in Arizona and Siloam Springs being in Arkansas. So here we go. I'll go ahead and turn down this music a little bit. So we're doing our traditional bans and picks. And so I'll just let you guys watch this, and I'll be back to discuss these bans and picks and that first game.
I'm absolutely livid. Who dares defy my will?
Right.
Pathetic.
The taste of coward.
As you wish.
All right, with the picks and bans done, let's talk about these for a little bit. Let's see if they shift around. Yeah, there was some shift. Okay. So Willow Canyon banned the Kane and the Vladimir, excuse me, the Kazakhs and the Vladimir from the early scouting reports, as well as the Talon. Those are all things that it looked really good for those lanes, especially the mid lane. And the Caitlyn got a ban because of that performance in that second game, or that first game. That first game, that Caitlyn was amazing. Lots and lots of damage. Unfortunately, couldn't quite carry her whole team. Tryndamere got banned. Not quite sure. I would have let them have the Tryndamere, but these guys have to make their own decisions. That's what's a little different about esports than regular sports. Ultimately, the kids are making that decision on the equivalent of the field, whereas in other sports, coaches are really shouting out and calling out, and if there's helmet mics, what each player should do.
Wait, that's an M6 set?
For Siloam Springs, their band is against Willow, whereas the Pike and Leona, so very scared of Verasasi in his support play. The Pike is what he likes to play all the time. The Leona was very effective. The J4 was banned. That's kind of interesting. Normally, 1-1 does play a very effective J4, but that J4 in the last game, not very effective, and also banned his Nidalee. And then the Nautilus got banned. Not sure. I've never seen Verasasi play Nautilus, so I'm wondering where that's coming from. All right, so for our picks, we have a Set versus an Ornn. Top lane, so a lot of burst damage, a lot of dive from the Set versus the tankiness of the Ornn. A Kayn versus Rivershen. Kayn can bring a lot, especially if Kayn gets a lot of early ganks, and I think Kayn could go red Kayn here and dominate this field, but it all depends on their how many ganks this Kayn can get and how fed it can get quickly. His power spikes do depend upon killing opposing champions. Veigar versus Akali is a very traditional assassin versus mage. I've been kind of looking into that, and how do you play a mage into an assassin, or how do you play a mage into a melee? And actually the mage has a lot of advantage early. With the poke, can kind of keep the assassin away from any kind of CS build, especially in early game. Now bot lane, we have an Ezreal Blitzcrank, very traditional hook, tank champion with Ezreal with a lot of mobility against a Misfortune and a Sona. Sona's going to bring a lot of healing, and Misfortune can hyper carry if she can get ahead, especially with her ult. If Sona can pop a stun, I believe Sona can do a stun. Sona's my next support champion to learn, but I believe I've seen her do a stun. The other day, though, we had, or just one of my own games, I had a Sona play top, and it was about as effective as you thought. She managed to keep the Aurelia busy, but then at the end of the game, when team play really mattered, she really didn't bring anything to the team, especially damage or tankiness that you expect from a top player. So 10 seconds, here we go.
Also because
Game 2 coming up. Siloam Springs versus League of Willow, or excuse me, Willow Canyon. All right, let's take a look here. I will talk about DJ Sona, give you the stats because my ugly mug is blocking the stats. So no mastery on the DJ Sona. Gun Goddess Misfortune, my personal favorite skin. I love Gun Goddess Misfortune so much. I just love it. Sorry. All Out, KDA, Akali, an M6, two M6s, a Frozen Shen with no mastery, and an Ornn with no mastery, versus an M6 set. So Destroyer Burn, I think, is going to bring a lot to the table here with that set. I do know, talking to their coach last year, Destroyer Burn, I believe, if I remember this correctly, and I apologize if I get it wrong, was their jungler and moved to top. Set is a very effective jungler. We have an M7 Kayn. This is why Kayn was banned in the first match. Let's see how that goes up against Shen. An M6 Veigar. So that'll be interesting mid. So I think we're in the mid here. We're going to see a lot more fights than we did in the first one because Ornn could just kind of take it and absorb it but not really dish it out. We have an Ez, an M5 Ez, and then the Blitzcrank. And Worthy Sauce 9011 is level 20, so learning, and we were all there at one point. So honestly, I think his Blitzcrank was pretty good. I think he needs to learn how to escape to get that Blitzcrank, to get his support play, pull him in, let that Kate burn down. A lot of times he was kind of alone or went in when Kate wasn't ready. So I think all in all, this player, Worthy Sauce 9011, is going to be pretty good. Some of the fundamentals are there. It's just going to take practice to get him where he needs to be, or she. I should probably check the roster to see if it's a he or she. But so good job, Worthy Sauce 9011. So let's do some music, and I do not like that song.
Oh.
There we go. Let's do some music while we wait for everything to boot. All right, here we go. Scoreboard, objective timers. And I'm glad the patch fixed my map. If you guys have watched the last couple streams, I was definitely having some issues there with my map. Actually, I kind of want to do something here. Let's see. There we go. So Willow. Why did the teams not? Oh, I'm sorry. The teams did switch sides. So Willow Canyon is red in this match, and Siloam Springs is blue. We're looking for an early invade, it looks like. All four, and the set is even coming in. I don't know if the Sona saw. And the Sona's pulled in. The Vigar, oh, and flashed out of the Vigar ring. I think Sona's going to just get out of there. Good early invade. The Shen is backing. I think the Shen is going to go for a blue. But Willow has no vision in this river. They could have stayed and gone, but it looks like Set is making his way top. So that was an early invade that not much happened. Sona got a little damaged, but managed to get away. So an ineffective invade, but it is going to, I think, keep Willow on its toes. So we started the first game with the traditional 5-point defense. This one looked like an early invade. Leaving the Cane to finish quite a bit. Early smite. The Shen also did an early smite. Sona getting pulled twice now by this Blitzcrank. Needs to respect the blitz. Set being the bully that he is. Already doubled the CS. Doran is playing a little too far back, not really getting that CS. I think both teams have a much better feel for each other right now. It's always interesting that first game, kind of peeking and poking, and now they understand each other's gameplay. So Shen does not see the... Can Shen get away here? And Shen does. Shen has that ability. Akali is there. Akali, I think, is going to punish this Set. Maybe even take him. The Vigar hasn't really moved up. The Set manages to get away. Excellent use of the Vigar of his ring, letting that Set get away. I think this is going to let the Ornn catch up with CS. So, pretty good attempt at a gank by the top player. Roaming early. And Akali just being that assassin, kind of bullying the Cane, letting Shen get ahead. Except for the Cane has a much better clear than the Shen. And the Cane manages to pick up the Scuttle on top river. Scuttle bot river. Still untaken. Kane moving down, has no raptors. Will he go for that scuttle, or is he going to go for his Krugs? Willow still hasn't taken their red. Definitely Kane is getting ahead here. Be nice to see a River Shen, but I don't think it's going to happen. Siloam Spring collapsing up on the scuttle there. Kane moving in, trying to gank this Akali, but backs off when he sees the Shen. I have not seen that for that new KDA skin, so that was kind of fun. Shen bullying. We're playing so far back. Popped his flame breath the wrong direction. That's one problem with an Ornn. Once you pop that flame breath, it's the direction you were facing. Dancing around a little too much. Set being a bully, as Set is wont to do. Neither team has vision on the dragon. Just in the river. Ugh. MF keeping that wave ahead. Keep pushing that wave. It's going to push up into river. Kane just clearing his own jungle. Drag has been up for a bit, for about a minute and a half. Ezreal and Blitz definitely clearing that vision. Blitz are doing very well with those early vision scores. So one big difference here with the MF versus the Ashe is that the MF, the MF doesn't really have much of a slow outside of her E. And most of Ashe's shots will end up just slowing your opponent. So Ashe was able to chase down that Blitzcrank quite a bit in the first game. Apologize. Whereas Frozen Cat 3030's MF doesn't have that early ability. She can use her W for some speed, but if that Blitz gets under tower, the MF is a little bit squishy. River Shen moving in. Bad gank there. Ugh. Good ult by the Ezreal. Definitely looks like it could have been effective. Did they see the Kane here? MF does have mana, or Sona and them are both. Here comes Kane right through the wall. And a great use of a ult on a stunned Kane, driving him off. Good job seeing that gank. Set an Ornn across top, pretty even on CS, 0-0. The Kane has more CS than the Shen. And along bottom, this Akali is kind of roughing up this Vigar quite a bit. And then 9 ahead for the MF. Both of them level 8. The Ornn a little behind, but one advantage the Ornn has is he can make his own items. So he doesn't really have to back. The set's going to back, so this is going to give a chance for the Ornn to catch up and get a little bit ahead. Neither team has really made much of a play to the dragon. Vigard's dropping a ward here. Both teams have vision on this. Sona taken out. Red team's vision on that Drake. An alt there. I think Ornn is going down here. Good gank by the Kayn. Ornn was trying to get some vision. Keeping that river clear for another easy gank. Full wave here. Blitzcrank came running up with his boost of speed. I believe that is his W. I've only played Blitz once. Here's River Shen. River Shen clearing the Dragon Pit of any kind of wards. And the dragon is a little annoyed at the Ez's attack, so goes full on the Shen. And it looks like first Drake is to Willow, and that is a Cloud Drake for Dragon, and we're getting an Ocean Drake next, so that means the soul will either be Infernal or Mountain. Now Willow in the first game did take the early first dragon, but this dragon wasn't taken until 11.5 minutes. It's a little long for a team not to get a dragon. So I say this was a jungle main, but again I'm a little obsessed with objectives and dragons. Wait, who got Rift Herald? Oh, and the Kayn picks up the Rift Herald. Kind of a repeat of last time's game. Wonder if that's something that Kali could have been doing instead, was moving up on Rift Herald to take out the Kayn. If Kali and Ornn had collapsed there, I think that would have prevented him from getting it. We will definitely see a second Rift Herald before the Baron comes to play. The question is, will these teams be able to get it? And the stun, the ult, and she takes out the Blitzcrank. Vigard taking out the I think the MF's going to take down this Vigard as well. Kayn might go down too. Nope. Manages to get under tower and protected. Ooh, that was a big hit on the Akali there from the tower. MF ahead of the Ezreal this time, as opposed to last time 2-0. And the Blitz is down 2 deaths. Mid lane is kind of equal now. It was a great use of roaming that every laner should be getting used to. That was a missed hook there from the Blitzcrank. Top lane is pretty even, except for Ornn did get ganked once, so but fed that Kayn. But Kayn Kayn has evolved into Red Kayn, which is going to bring a lot of damage to the fore. River Shen does see the Kayn. Going to try to get away here. Good use of his dash to get away from Set and Kayn. Here we go, peek and a poke between the mage. Clearing that vision so vitally important. It does look like Siloam Springs it does have pretty good vision here. So the Rift Herald got summoned. Okay, here in mid. I think Kayn was probably. Oh, that's not good. That Akali's between the stun and the Kayn ult. Oh, and the Kayn misses that. Oh, but the Set is here. That's definitely gonna take that tower down. Oh, and the Ezreal ult takes out the Akali. Great use of an ult. First turret goes to blue team. Goes to Siloam Springs.
Oh my gosh, the lag.
Shen and Ornn, it looks like they're trying to get out of there. And more than half of that tower taken. It looks like both of them are kind of building the same thing here. Shen going for a tanky build. I think maybe just trying to get that trying to get this MF ahead. So MF definitely ahead here. Akali and Ornn working on the dragon as well as Shen. So this is going to go healing and ultimate cooldown, and it looks like we're getting an Infernal Soul. So both very important for both of these teams. That's a lot of damage to kick out. MF here kind of unopposed at the bot lane. I think they're going to definitely take this tower. If MF can start roaming, that's going to be kind of dangerous to this Vigar, which in turn would get the Akali roaming, and let's see what happens here. Just clearing that vision. Good idea all around. Sona making her way back bot lane.
Oh, you're joking again.
I think Kayn is moving. Oh, Kayn's going to take this second Herald. Completely unopposed. Willow had no vision on it. Got a ping here. Oh, good flash by the Vigar. Sona takes down the Vigar. But the Kayn is still carrying that Rift Herald, so we're going to see what happens. Rift Herald's on top here. CS tied here on top lane. Flashing out of the set. That's Cone. Set levels up to 12. Set does a lot of true damage there. Sona coming up, helping out mid lane. But Ezreal and Blitz here, I think, are going to be able to take this bot tower. There's nothing Willow can really do about it. And Willow's second tower goes down in top lane. Isla's trying to get away. Some more true damage. River Shen moving in. Oh, keeping that set stunned, and 1-1 takes down the set. But this bot tower was taken away. A full wave here. I think Ezreal will just work on this. Where's the Blitz doing? The MF is there to defend now, as is the Sona. Use of an ult to push them back. Not sure if it's exactly the wisest. So now we have another Herald here. The mid lane is completely cleared. Really punishing this Kayn here. Kayn's ult. And they're feeding this Kayn, which is not a good idea. River Shen going down in the river. And that's 3 straight up kills for Kayn. Or that might, yeah, well, that might have been a 2-1 between the Kayn and the Vigar. If any of you guys saw different, let me know in the comments. Willow doing a much better job this time with the vision score. For some reason my brain processed that as violin score. It's been a long day. I think both teams are setting up for this big river fight. Vigar using a TP to get in, so this is going to be a big fight here for Drag. I think whoever has the most crowd control, I think, is the one who's going to win this. Kali, what? That was a great pull by Blitzcrank. And I think Siloam Springs definitely came out ahead in that one. That's pretty much a guaranteed dragon for Siloam Springs, so great job on that team fight. So the drag score here will be 2-1 to Willow, but that attack damage and AP from the Infernal Drake, that buff. Blue team is pinging this mid tower. I think trying to make a push while Willow is down. But I think that's kind of a lost opportunity at this point. Siloam Springs doing a much better job this time of kind of controlling the field. I think this team comp is very, very good, especially with the red Kayn there. Red Kayn almost down from the MF. Not giving chase. Sona dropping some wards. Persona playing rather aggressively. And Kane buying a black cleaver, and it looks like some kind of Hydra weapon being built. Hydra weapon. With this Tiamat. Kane's going to be putting on a lot of damage. Blitzcrank is definitely building up high. Willow, I mean, Willow does have the tank here with Ornn, but Ornn and Set are kind of countered in the Blitz. Shen can be tanky. Kane doing a clear. Are they aware that Set is by his lonesome? Plug in my phone. Once the team is kind of pushed back into its base and it's playing defensive, that really lets the other team, in this case blue, dictate what's going on. And we got another drag in a minute 50. Baron is up. Willow Canyon has no vision on the Baron, no vision on the Dragon Pit. 2 or 3 of Siloam Springs champs can kind of just keep them bottled up here at the mouth. And the other 2 can roam and do whatever they want. As we see kind of Kane and I thought Set may be doing. Interesting that Set keeps stealing jungle. Good use of the ult there by Isla. Here comes Kane with a lot of damage. Ezreal takes down the Akali. There is an advantage here for Willow, but I think it'll be... I don't think it'll be effective enough to take this 4th dragon. Set also TPing in. And Siloam Springs has absolute control of this objective. Ezreal's pretty good here. Once again, another lost fight for the drag. Or they might even get an ace. What? Apologize. Kane's definitely ahead of the Shen. So we're tied up, 2 dragons. Siloam Springs ahead by 2 kills, but almost 5k, 5.5k gold. So much vision on all these teams. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little confused at times between blue and red. Keep expecting Willow to be blue because that is one of our school colors. Here we go. Willow kind of split up again. Not quite sure what they're doing here. The Akali is roaming. Pinging this bot lane. I wonder if Ezreal and Blitz are going to make a push for this last tower in bot lane. Good escape by the set. Sona playing a little aggressively. I think she still thinks she's Leona. Mid tower down. We're now down to 2.5 minutes for this next Drake, which will be another Infernal Drake, so even more AP and attack damage. Shen managing to get away there. Willow falling back to a defensive play, and this is Siloam Springs' way of definitely keeping them all bottled up. Hold on, the other coach is sending me a message on the Discords. So it looks like there is a pause coming up. Apparently Willow Canyon's Lone Woofy is having some lag, so he's going to do some fixes here. So this game will pause soon. And then maybe we'll hear some of Coach Alfred's inane chatter. What happened to my feed? There it is. Vygar is unstoppable. So that was a Vygar kill against the Sona. Against the Sona. That's what we missed there. You got a drag in a minute. The Kayn is definitely way ahead. I mean, over 100 CS ahead of the Shen. 4 kills, 6 assists. The set's a little behind the Ornn, but providing a lot of assistance. Doing a good job there. The Vygar is ahead of the Akali. And the MF, who started out ahead against the Ezreal, is now behind. 4-2-4 versus a 5-2-5. But Sona is doing much better than the Blitz. 2-2-8 versus the 0-4-3. What I think is really interesting is Destroy and Burn is, it seems to me like he's falling back on his jungle pass because he wasn't really competing in lane effectively, and so he's just going and getting his gold, his CS from jungle camps, and he can do that because Siloam Springs definitely has the advantage here with this should not be a long pause, guys, because it looks like my player is playing here, and But Siloam Springs definitely has this control. I think those two heralds were very effective that the Cane took. And instead of taking another drag in response, I think Willow let that kind of lag. The team fight from Siloam Springs is much, much better this game than it was last game. So all in all, a much different experience, I think, than the first game. So maybe it's just blue side is blessed to be ahead and red side is cursed to lose. Let's see what happens. This should not take that much longer. Talking about builds here, the Orin is going for Bramble Vest, has his plated steel caps, and a giant belt. He's probably looking for some more armor. I'm not quite sure what all the armor is with this patch, so I'm going to leave it at that. It's just he's building some more kind of armor. I don't understand why he's not building a Sunfire Cape, because that's just super effective with the Orin. The set has Des Dance, and that is which used to have some lifesteal and apparently does not anymore. So Ignore Pain, spreading that damage out, which on set with as much hit points as he has, super nice. And then that Champion Takedown cleanses it, so they're basically giving you more speed and restoring health. And he's got that Rejuvenation bead. The Cane, who's just so far ahead, has the Black Cleaver, the Gore Drinker, the Ravenous Hydra, just all around. This looks like a third Drake for Siloam Springs. Another river fight. This one actually looks like it's going to Willow. Willow lost the drag, but definitely won this fight. So, a little too late. Let's see what happens here. What's Willow going to do? They got 25 seconds. Are they making a play for Baron? That's really interesting. There's nothing Siloam Springs can really do to stop this. They don't have any vision around here, so they're not going to really... Don't understand why Eyeless is going behind Baron. Definitely trying to burn it down really fast. Gonna get out of there, I think. Ezra a little too late, and definitely a miss. Is this Orin gonna get away? And they did. So Willow's got the full Baron buff. What are they gonna do with it? The Baron buff was kind of a tipping point. I don't want to call it a turning point, but it was a tipping point in the last game. Let's see if the Baron buff will be the same thing in this game. I do think Siloam Springs is a little too far ahead for this to do much, but the top lane hasn't been touched at all. Kane, I think, looking for the ambush. Willow has no idea he's there by chickens. Shen trying to get away here. Good use of his burst. Orin clearing that vision. Kali, I think, is going to try to make a move on the set here. Missed with some of her abilities. Set's gonna get a lot of... And Akali takes down the set. top lane? I think he was counting on his health there, but Akali's getting pretty stacked with the Night Harvester, Lichbane. I do want to read these because some of these are very much changed from the last patch. So Lichbane there gives you enhanced damage. Okay, let's watch this fight. So kind of taking advantage of this Baron buff. Here comes the... And that Kayn was just really out of place here. Akali making a split push, taking advantage of that Baron buff. Might even pick up this other turret. Nobody's moving over there to stop her. Okay, here's the set, but Akali has the 2 cannons that are going to take it down. And the Baron buff is gone. Willow definitely taking advantage of that Baron buff to push back on Siloam Springs, kind of putting him in the same boat that Willow was. Willow trying to take this next Infernal Drake in 17 seconds. If Siloam Springs gets it, then that would be an Infernal Soul for him, which is a huge buff and would be another tipping point in this game. But no one's there. The Kayn's moving, the Ezreal's moving, but that's a lot of damage that Willow can put out here. Willow takes the Infernal Drake. Ezreal tried his ult, just about a second too late. Okay, Akali just keeping 2 of Siloam Springs bottled up. We have Ezreal clearing vision. This game is back to being fundamentally tied. Great job. Willow coming back from behind is now about 1,000 gold ahead and 3 kills ahead. I did not think that that would have been possible here. So great job there. Set out of position again. Just getting kind of beat up by the 3v1. Shen and Kayn, that's not a battle I think Shen can win, but Willow is staying together and their team fight is much, much better in this game than it has been the past few weeks. And the first base turret goes to Willow, taking out Siloam Springs turret. Here we have Shen. Oh, Shen uses a flash to get out. Willow has a wave. I think they're going to make a push on this inhib. Good use of his ring by Veigar. Kali using her mobility. At the same time, we have Ornn just taking out bot lane. Veigar's at half health. I'm not sure why Ornn isn't going all in on him. Ezreal and Set. Ornn just kind of clearing. Alrighty. A lot of wards there. Both teams are putting out really excellent vision scores. 69 for the Blitzcrank, 43 for the Ezreal, 63 for the Kayn, 59 for Shen. Absolutely fantastic job there.
That was a very good outline.
Shen is a champ I would like to learn. When I've played him a few times, there's just some things I just don't get about him.
I'm just gonna.
I'm not sure what Willow's doing here.
It's literally one shot.
Both teams kind of mid. Willow a little spread out. It's a 3v2. But MF has taken the lead, so MF's going to do some carry here. Blitzcrank out of position, pulled the MF, but he was by himself, and he just didn't have the damage, I think, to carry that.
Let's go.
So there's another Baron up here. Siloam Springs does have everybody but the set alive, so kind of a ballsy move here, but the Akali was keeping everybody busy in this top lane and distracted. Siloam Springs is really kind of buttoned up. And so that's a second Baron to Willow Canyon. We have 17 seconds for Dragon Soul for either team. And Akali is just bullying this top lane, keeping everybody busy. And now with the Baron buff, and Akali manages to get away with like 3 hit points, hardly anything. And the Infernal Soul goes to Willow Canyon. I missed that, but that Akali fight was amazing. Ezreal has missed the last few of his ults. And they did play a really good turn in the early game, but in the end game here, he's just been, I think, a little off. So here we go. Okay, we're at the 45-minute mark here. This has been kind of a grind for both teams. Down here, mid-fight. We have the Baron buff. Set tries to go all in, but Set is by himself. 3v1. The Kayn left. Not quite sure why. That Kayn had full health. I think the Kayn could have turned a lot of that, especially if he had gone all in on the MF. MF is a bit of a glass cannon. And we have this Baron buff. What's going to happen here? They lose the Baron buff, moving out. So blue team, or excuse me, Willow Canyon has basically cleared mid and top and is going down here now. That also brings down the Kayn and others. Looks like this tower is going to go down here. Shen is taking down that tower, and it looks like GG all the way around here. 7k gold difference. And MF takes the Ez in base. Great game all around. Good game, guys. Super proud of all of you for Willow, and also super proud of Siloam Springs. That game could have gone anywhere in that middle, and so we can see 16, 29, and 30 for Siloam Springs, 29, 16, and 60. So I definitely think there was a team fight advantage for Willow. Looking at advanced detail, not as much damage as that first game. The Vigar, the mid player, still having most of the damage. The Set bringing a lot of damage for being 0, 8, and 8. 20k here for this game, but that Ezreal, oh my goodness, 37,000 damage. But the MF carrying at 47, 23 for Sona, 28 for Akali. All in all, just kind of a great game. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate all of you. And stay safe, stay masked, and do what's right.
Yeah, I realized as soon as I flashed, I was like, what?